everybody? Patchboyz here. We want to do this quick short so we can provide some information about our new sponsors, Underdog Wireline. You can see I'm wearing their merch here. So I just want to tell you a few things that they provide. Of course, they're in Wireline. In Wireline, they provide pump down, logging, pipe recovery services, and as well production work. And some of the other stuff that they provide, they have emergency shower trailers and cool down trailers for rent. At the end of this, we're going to put their contact information. They believe in us, we believe in them, and I think we're a match made in heaven. We appreciate all the support, and we hope that you support Underdog Wireline as well. Thank you, guys.
This episode is sponsored by Clyde. Now, you might remember Frac Slap from our previous episode. Well, the man's from Midland, and he's a roughneck, and he built this cool app called Clyde. Now, what I will tell you is this app is a community app for the oil and gas industry where you can join forums to ask questions and share information. And let's say you're looking for a job or you want more money or you want to move up in the industry, check out Clyde Jobs. This app features impressive AI tools. It has an advanced YouTube-like platform, and you can search for any videos in energy. Now, look, you can even ask a bot questions and it will answer them instantly. So look, it's free. Sign up now at Clyde.io. All right, guys, got a special guest today, Frac Slap, Colin. Man, I appreciate you coming, bro.
Dude, cheers to our Diet Dr. Pepper and our sparkling water over here.
Oh, I know, man, I know.
No, I was, before we hit the record button, I was just talking about y'all's studio. You've made a few upgrades since the last time I've been here, and it looks nice. And, dude, honestly, this reminds me of the early days of starting our podcast. Like, I've got pictures from back, dude, we've been doing the oil and gas startups podcast for 6 years now. We started back in 2018, and you look at it, and we had this this room that we paid like $300, $400 a month in rent for, and our podcast table was a kitchen table out of Jake's garage, and I'd have like all these like executives for oil and gas companies coming in, and like we just had like our setup back then was like really rough, and so like I appreciate like seeing y'all step up in your game, because it's a cool thing. And like you look at like our podcast studio, I was just telling you, it's like y'all need to come down to Houston and check out ours. But we're actually we're signing a lease on a new office. We're gonna call it Wildcatter Warehouse, and we have 2 big podcast studios planned out in there, and it'll be pretty state of the art stuff. But like I miss setups like this. This is dope. And like you're talking about like having your own spot, like that elevates it.
It does.
It does.
Yeah, man. I mean, for sure. Sorry to cut you off, but like for us, as soon as we got this and we went for it, and at first it was a little scary because we're like, dang, we're actually putting money in this. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, it's no longer just for fun. It's like, and it happened so fast. It wasn't like, oh yeah, let's a year later. No, it was fucking within a month, bro. So it was crazy. But no, man. I mean, ever since we did it, it just boom, boom, and it's honestly been really busy.
Dude, lately. It is. It's funny how when you start spending money, you're like, oh shit, this isn't just a hobby. Like we're actually doing this, and we're putting both time and money into it. And I remember when we got our spot, like we didn't even have enough cash like in the bank. This is when we actually got a real office for Digital Wildcatters. We didn't even have enough money in the bank to cover that first month of rent.
Oh, dang.
And like rent, it wasn't that much. It was like $2,000 or something like that. Yeah. And we're like, we'll just figure it out and we'll make it happen. And now I'm, about to get this like nice big office. And anyways, it's just funny. But like you do those things, like, especially on podcasts, man, like it everyone has a virtual podcast. And like, don't get me wrong, like, you do what you can, but like if you actually have a real setup and you have people coming in person, like you can't beat that in-person interaction. And so anyways, for sure. I think it's cool seeing y'all do this and seeing the upgrades. Like y'all got neon in here now and like Patchboyz artwork. I'm like, yeah, this is a vibe. Yeah, dude. We got a ball and plug over here just sitting. I'm like, okay.
And that's from Faven too. And and it's crazy, bro, because like, when you first you were actually like our first like real interview guy, like it was big to us. So we took off work and shit. Like it was huge. I remember fucking writing all this stuff down. I was so nervous, bro. Like, oh my, but like it's crazy because ever since the last time, we've just had people
Just
on
been having guests on.
Bro,
I love it. I didn't know it was like the first like interview guest. That's cool.
You're our first like big guest, so like we took it serious, bro. Like we did our homework and read everything. You know,
No, it was a good show, man. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun doing that, and then you know, I've told you guys this a ton, but I have nothing but love and appreciation for y'all. You know, I got one of my guys from Digital Wildcatters down here with me. His name's Kevin, and this is his first time in Midland, so I'm showing him around. And anyways, I was telling him about y'all's podcast, and I was like, you know what I love about these dudes? I was like, they're like, hey man, I gotta pull this Packer, you know, I gotta see what time I get off the rig, and coming straight from the rig to record a podcast. You guys are the only motherfuckers in the world doing that, I promise. And so like, you know, even me, like, dude, I got soft hands now. I don't work in the field anymore. You know, I'm a little fucking bitch boy, you know, podcast technology guy. So like, I just got a ton of respect for you guys doing this while working out in the field and making it work. So
man, yeah, for sure. And I appreciate you noticing, because I mean, it is a lot. Like today, like I was hoping to get here at 3, but then the rig went down, and then these guys are tallying coming out of the hole, and I even tried to like pull up because I had the old install, and I was like, hey dude, I got the old tally, I can print this out, we don't have to do this shit. He's all like, no, we want to do it. I'm like, fuck, you know.
The life of a tool hand. You told me yesterday, you're like, hey, because we're trying to, you know, kind of get a time set, and you're like, you know, I should be done, like we should be pulling out of the hole by like 2 or so. I was like, dude, you just screwed yourself. Like you fucked yourself by saying that.
And honestly, I really thought I was gonna be out by 11. And I was like, I'll be home, I'll be back. It's a 2-hour drive, so I was like, I'll be back in time. But man, it was stuff after thing. And then it took us like an hour to release the Packer. Like it was hell. So I was like, dang. So but we got it. You know, had a good.
I'll be honest. Like I thought we'd probably cancel this podcast because you're gonna be like, man, we got a fish in the hole. I got to be out here all night. Like the second you start planning and like you set a time to like do something else, you're just screwed. That's bad omens.
You're not lying, man. I mean, and I'm the worst at that shit. Like I'm not like I remember at work, like at Baker, they'd be like, hey dude, like when are you gonna finish this well? And I'm like, oh man, like in a week. And then I'll be trying, and then it'd be like a week and a half, 2 weeks later, I'm like, don't even ask me, dude, because I can't even help you.
Yeah,
like,
you can't forecast this stuff. No one knows.
Especially on a frac job, right? I mean, you got frac going down, you got all this stuff, you know.
Yeah, you know, when I worked at Inventure running expandable casing, you know, I'm managing these large drilling and completions projects, and like no one knows what expandable casing is. So I'd go out there and like the company man would be like, hey dude, this is your job. And I had to manage all the third-party services. So whether it was, you know, downhole tools, cementing, casing hands, whatever. And, you know, some of these are drilling applications. So I'm like, you know, like what's happening on the rig, and then I have to plan out all the third-party services. I was like, dude, this is almost like impossible. Like you got to stay like 12 steps ahead to get everyone on the right timing, and you never know what's gonna happen on a drilling rig. You know, especially like, you know, shit could just go sideways really quick. So you're just sitting there constantly, you know, keeping everyone kind of in the peripherals to try to plan and get everything lined up. And it's a pretty big, like, you don't appreciate this until you get out of the field, but just the amount of logistics and timing and preparation that go into jobs is something that a lot of people don't appreciate until you get out of it. And then you get out in the outside of oil and gas. It's like, why does no one think ahead? It's like, why does no one prepare for things? Like, why are they not thinking about, you know, what's going to happen, you know, 12 steps ahead? So
yeah, I hear you, man. And on a drilling rig, stuff takes so long. You know what I mean? Like you'll be out there for a day and a half just to get out of the hole. Just because as long as it takes with drill pipe, you know. And I know I've been out to wells before. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna set up, you know, RBP, but then these, you know, one time this guy was like, hey, well, we want to retrieve it on pipe, and I'm like, damn, you know what I mean? So I already knew I was gonna be all day.
You're staying out there all day,
dude. So, and I was there all day, all night. And then the tool pusher, the company man was really like an asshole to me, bro, like bad. And then, but finally, when I told him I used to roughneck and I did it on the Kelly rigs, dude, it was like a whole nother respect came to me. And I was like, he was like, hey, are you tired? And I'm like, no, I'm good. You sure? Because I got a bed, man. I'm like, damn, you didn't offer that yesterday.
It is funny, bro, how that like switches. You know, I remember I went out to this workover rig one time, and I'm running my tool, and the rig operator, he looked at me and he's like, are you a petroleum engineer? And I was like, nah, dog. I was like, I came up roughnecking, and like instantly just there was a shift in how he talked to me and treated me. So
yeah.
it's funny how people are. I'm the same way, dude. I'm an asshole. I'm not an asshole all the time. But it's like,
I got you.
Like the second that you tell me that you work in the field or you're from the field, like I have a different level of respect for someone. So
oh yeah, for sure. Because then they also what they've been through, right? You know what it's like to wake up in the morning or be wet, mud in your boots and all that stuff, or even on a wireline job. You know what it's like to be out there with your back bent over, breaking guns down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
and people now like know that I respect people that come from the field. So anyone that works in the field that introduces me, like they make it a point to let me know that they used to roughneck or they used to run wireline because they're like, I want to get in Colin's good graces quickly. So they let me know real quick that they worked out in the field.
Honestly, man, the way you've like came up like online, I've noticed like, man, it's awesome how you did that. And that one reel we did with you, and I felt horrible because the first time you came on, I should have did like with video, but I just didn't know how to. My first guess, and I didn't want to I didn't know how you felt with cameras and stuff, so I just let it go.
Bro, you don't know how I felt with cameras? I'm a camera whore, dog. What are you talking about? I got a camera on me all the time. I don't know if you see my video. I got pulled over by Midland police last night.
I was gonna bring that up, dude.
Yeah, crazy, dude. Yeah, so I get pulled.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I get into town last night, like I don't know, 6 o'clock or whatever, and I go and catch dinner at the bar. Because we're staying over here at Doubletree and get done eating. It's like 10 o'clock, and me and Kevin were walking back to the hotel, and it's downtown Midland at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday. No one's down there, right? Yeah. It's just us outside, and I'm sitting there at the crosswalk, and the lights turn green. And so we cross the street, like we're crossing the street with the flow of traffic like you're supposed to, right? Well, there's a cop waiting to make a left-hand turn, and he goes to make that left-hand turn, and he has to yield to me because I'm walking across the crosswalk. Oh. And I guess that pissed him off because it was inconvenient or what, but pulls me over because the actual walking sign had a red hand on it, not a walking sign. And so him and I sit there and like arguing on it. And I'm going to be fair to this guy because I went back to my hotel room and I read the Texas Penal Code. And it is right. It's like you have to follow, like if there's a sign, like you should follow that sign. Oh. But I think it's dumb as fuck because if you're going to flow of traffic, like I don't need big government or some sign to tell me when it's safe to cross the street, right? Anyways, but I pull out my phone and like I'm making a joke out of it, like recording myself, right, while it's happening. And then what's so funny about it is you get it block over next to Doubletree, and there's no power to the walking signs, so they're turned off. Snap. And so now I'm like, okay, can I cross the street or am I gonna get fucking pulled over by the cops again?
Dude, that is crazy though.
So everyone is laughing at it. Like one of my friends is like, dude, you got to be the only person that's ever got pulled over in Midland for jaywalking.
No lie, dude. Last night when you sent that, I was like, I saw it last night before I went to sleep. I just peeked at it and I was like, damn, that's it. I thought you were maybe playing around for a minute.
No, everyone thought I was joking. Everyone thought I was joking. No one thought it was serious. I'm like, no, he took my license, ran my license, and he ended up not giving me a ticket. Thank God, because if he gave me a ticket, dude, I was gonna be forced to just flame him on Twitter.
Oh, dude, I don't blame him, man. Take his face photo and put him out. But no, I mean, he's not lying. I've never seen nobody get pulled over.
It was ridiculous. Yeah. But anyways, it's a funny story now. So
it's pretty wild that happened to you here, though. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
that's what my friend Anthony over at Chevron. He's like, dude, I thought you were famous in oil and gas. Why are they pulling you over? And I'm like, I guess I don't know. I don't have any weight with Midland Police Department. Apparently,
he probably does a lot of oil and gas guys too. So he's just like coming at them hard. You know, I had a guy pull me one time over on 349, and it was early, dude. And he was like, "Oh, mad," like kind of giving me shit for speeding, but they had just changed the speed limit. But I tried to pull the car where like, "Oh, my brother-in-law is this guy because he's a deputy," and it didn't work. No, I think it made things worse.
It always sucks. Yeah, it always sucks when you try to pull that card and it doesn't work, and you just look like an asshole.
Dude, I was like, damn, and I have a lot of firepower in that area because I got my two brother-in-laws were one was a deputy and the other one still is. He's been there for 20 years.
Yeah,
or maybe even 30, bro. He's been there for a minute. So and his dad was an actual guy that pulled out baby Jessica from the well back.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. So he's.
Did you know what's cool about that is I was looking through. My mom has this boxer, this trunk of just like stuff from when I was a baby, and anyways, she brought it over to my house and. Because she wanted it out of her house. And anyways, I was going through the stuff, and there was like a lot of news articles and Time magazines from the baby Jessica incident. And it's crazy. Like I was looking through it and I'm like, oh shit, that's my childhood doctor. Like I saw like 3 people that I knew and that were there. there. And anyways, it was just like cool to see like you had all these like oil filled hands out there and just in boots and jeans working to get her out. And
just
so
getting it, man.
yeah, just getting it. Like and so anyways, you know, it's a cool thing to think about, like when you actually realize is like, oh shit, there's like people that we know that were involved with that.
Yeah, it is wild, man. I mean, and I didn't even know it was a big story till, I mean, I never really heard of it, but they actually flew him and my sister-in-law and his family all the way to like California, and they did like a show like on True TV with like the guy from Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Yeah. So I'm watching him on TV and I'm like, and I was like, oh my god, like this thing is huge. You know what I mean?
No, like those magazines, like it was like Time Magazine, and like I mean that was like worldwide story, and you think about like, what was that, 1989 or 88 or something like that? I mean, just think about how small town Midland was back then, and you know, you had worldwide news coverage on this, but I mean, you think about it, it is fucking terrifying. Your baby falls down a well. Like, dude, can you imagine?
I know, and we both have kids, right? So it's like scary to think that.
It's like I don't even want to think about that. Dude. So like I remember like hearing about baby Jessica as you know, I was a kid and like hearing that story, but like when you actually like stop and think about it, you're like, yeah, dude, that's fucking terrifying if that happened to one of your kids. Like I can't imagine.
I know, man. You know what always got me was those safety videos. You know, like when you back up your truck. Yeah. And they're like, dude, walk around, because then they show like a photo of some guy.
He took backing over a kid.
No, well, his kid was hiding in where the wheels are at, bro, in the back. Oh, goddamn. And ever since then, that stuff has always kind of like rubbed me the wrong way. Like when I back a truck up now, I get nervous. Like I go look around and
we got a lot of kids in my neighborhood, and like they just do not pay attention to cars at all. So like I'm always like super careful. Watching out. But I mean. Bet. Like, you'd have some stupid-ass kid hiding up in the wheel well of a car. Like, what are you doing up there, dog?
Come on, man. You should know better than this shit, right?
Kind of deserve it.
It was, speaking of, like, your home or your town, how is it now with the whole, the flood and all that?
Yeah, dude. You know, it's crazy, man. Because, you know, we had that... we had the hurricane that came through 2 weeks ago, but then a month before that, we had... all those tornadoes and stuff in town. It was like crazy, man. Like so much wind damage across Houston, like insane amount of wind damage. And so we're still kind of getting over that, you know, licking our wounds from that. And a lot of people lost power during that. And then this hurricane came through, and, you know, that hurricane, it came up the Gulf, hit Mexico, came up the Atlantic, hit Mexico, and then on the other side of Mexico, came through the Gulf, and it regained power to become a Category 1. And I stand by this. Like, dude, that was not a Category 1 storm. That wind was ridiculous. It was at least Cat 2.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. And the way that it kind of arced up, you know, they're like, okay, it's going to hit Corpus Christi, but it ended up actually turning back east and coming towards Houston. And I live in Katy on the west side of Houston. And so it was like direct hit on Katy, and it was, just wild how strong the wind speeds were. And anyways, man, people without power, which I mean, for like I think there's still a lot of people without power, and this is 2 weeks later.
That's
and
crazy, man.
We were very fortunate. We got power back within like 12 hours. I think that where I live, there's a substation. It's called Flu Island Substation, and my theory is that like it's just really easy to access, like it's low-hanging fruit that they can get to really quickly, so they get it up in a really short amount of time. But yeah, dude, millions of people without power, Center Point, just a complete shit show. You know, we probably should dive in on this a little bit, because I mean, this really just highlights the importance of energy and energy infrastructure. But you know, really like what the problem is it comes down to distribution lines in Houston and trees falling over and taking out power lines. And so, you know, it's not a power generation issue. It's not a transmission issue. It's a distribution issue from the substation to people's neighborhoods and houses. And really, it's a fallen line issue with trees knocking down lines, with power poles snapping in half and falling over. And so there's, you know, a lot of criticism on Center Point, one, for not doing enough preventative maintenance of cutting trees down. in trimming branches. They call in all of these linemen from Arkansas and Mississippi and Louisiana to come in and help. And these guys are just lined up in parking lots waiting because Centerpoint's negotiating pay with their companies. And it's like, dude, fuck all of this. Like, you got, dude, it's hot in Houston, man. It's hot. And you got people without food, without AC. And, your job is to get power back on as soon as possible. And there's just a ton of misalignment between Centerpoint and citizens of Houston. And, really just living in Houston, man, the last several years just really highlights the importance of energy security to me. I mean, like, I haven't been through it. I've gone, I think the max is 3 days without power, but I'm gonna tell you what, 3 hours without power fucking sucks, man.
Yeah.
Like, it fucking sucks. And you realize like how spoiled we are in the United States. When you look at other countries, in parts of Latin America and Middle East, Africa, Asia, these places don't have reliable access to electricity, and really just makes me understand how important our work is in oil and gas and the energy industry to provide energy and electricity to the world. And, I make it a point. My kids are 13 and 11 and 8. And they think it fucking sucks not having electricity. They're bitching, I can't get Wi-Fi, and I want to play Xbox. I make it a point. I'm like, yeah, life sucks without electricity, right? I'm like, it sucks. Like, you don't want to live like this. Like, we don't want to go back to life in the 1800s. And really, like, use it as a learning moment for them to understand the importance of electricity and energy. And, thank God we have nat gas at our house, so we can at least cook some food and heat water and things like that. But yeah, man. Houston is kind of an epicenter of energy debate right now, because you just see the the bad effects of bad energy policy, infrastructure, things of this nature. But the good thing about Houston is Houston's full of incredible people, really resilient people, and people on Twitter are like, why the fuck would you want to live in Houston? Because like, Houston's dope, dude. I love Houston. Like, I love the people there. Like, it's a badass city. So everyone stays in high spirit during those times. But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, that was wild. I mean, one of our managers, he was out for 2 weeks too, and then I think luckily his neighbor had like a generator or something, and they were able to use that. But I mean, if they didn't have fuel, they wouldn't be able to run it, right? So it's crazy. It all goes down to that.
Yeah, but, that's another like, yeah, you have a generator, cool. But hey, if it's a gas or propane generator, like for 4 days there, like, you could not find gasoline. Like, it was Hunger Games, people trying to fill up their cars. Like, your supply chains get wrecked with the refinery shutting down, and so there's just not any gasoline anywhere either. So you just think about those things, and like, you realize how fragile life is and like how fragile energy is, and it really kind of highlights the importance of the work that all of us do.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I mean, and one thing about y'all that I've noticed is that y'all always put out really good. Like, y'all always putting out the information. Y'all are battling people online. I'm saying that are criticizing. And I love that, man, because I mean, a lot of people don't do that.
Yeah, fuck those people online.
Yeah, dude. And you've been having a lot of Jesus wanted me to bring this up because he wanted to be here, but he's working and he couldn't get off. So
respect.
Yeah, and he's cool, man. He's like, hey, you gotta knock it out, bro. And he's building ESP.
Y'all come to Houston. Take a weekend, come to Houston, visit me, and we'll record a podcast at DW, and we'll bro out there.
I think we've, ever since you mentioned that, I'm telling you, we've been tinkering it. We're like, dude, and we're kind of like looking online to see if there's like UFC fights going there at the same time.
Match it up with something going on. Hell yeah.
Because we love that stuff too.
That's fair.
Everything on there. But
we should line up whenever if there's a UFC event that happens. I'll make you guys a deal. I'll take y'all guys to that, and then we'll record a podcast.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Because I see your studio, bro, and I love how y'all do y'all's angles and y'all's topics and how y'all talk, and even like everything y'all put out is so cool. Like even from the clips, for the YouTube online, all that stuff, dude.
Yeah, we got, and just so like people know, because actually I was with a couple of engineers from Endeavor today at lunch, and they were like asking about that, like how you do these clips and all that. I mean, look, like, you come to our studio and we have 5 cameras all lined up over here, and they're all hardwired into a board. Like, we don't run SD cards or batteries or anything.
Yeah.
And then that plugs into a monitor, and then we've got a soundboard, and then post editing. Like, I've got a full-time editor, producer on our team that just sits there, and like, you think about, like, it's like you got 5 camera angles. That means 5 tracks that you're editing, and you got to switch them whenever someone. And luckily, like, AI coming out is making that a lot easier to edit and do. But it's people are like, when they start podcasting, they're like, oh, I want to do it like you guys do. And I'm like, look, like, you guys did it right. Like, you're talking about like not doing video and stuff earlier. Like, and I think I told you all that. I was like, dude, just start with audio. Just like prove to yourself like you like doing it, and you can do it. And then once you add video, it adds complexity. But it's like you start slow and build up over time.
I think that's how we've been doing it. Like, we start with the clips, and we still like the clips a lot, but like, even though we just got one angle, we're like, well, people have been asking us like crazy, like, when you do a video, so we just started putting something out, and everything I'm learning, like, I'm editing videos. I never thought I'd do that a year ago.
You're like, I'm just a toy.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, I barely
dude, like, this is actually like, I want to highlight this for a second, man, and give you some respect here, because this is how you do shit. You just do it. You ship it. You don't worry about being perfect. You learn along the way and pick up skills, and that's how you do it. A lot of people won't get started or do anything because they get analysis paralysis and like, oh, I don't know how to edit video. I can't tell you how many people, when they ask me like to start a podcast, they're like, well, how do I edit? Like, dude, don't even fucking like get your phone and just record something first, and then it's like go from there. And so you guys are doing it the right way. You go slow over time and learn how to do it.
And that's one thing we always clarify too. Like, me and Asus, and we always talk about, hey, we coming in here every week, and sometimes we're tired. We're like, dude, you know what I mean? Like, but we're like, we got to put one out. We're putting out every Monday.
It's that consistency, dude. It's that consistency. Yeah.
Joe Rogan said that, right? And I keep that in my head all the time. Be consistent.
Once you lose that consistency, man, you lose momentum. And so, like, dude, I'm not going to lie. Like, there's sometimes, like, I do not feel like recording a podcast. Like, I think about Joe Rogan, dude. Joe Rogan does this shit every day for, like, his episodes are a few hours, and like, he's done it every day for, 15 years or something like that? Like, I was like, man, like, you're stupid if you think Joe Rogan goes into every episode and it's like, I can't wait to do this. Like, he's like, fuck, man, or another one. So, like, I get like that all the time. And it's funny because, like, I'll get like that, but then when I start recording and talking to someone, I get energized again. And I'm like, oh, yeah, this is badass.
Once it starts flowing, right? It's like, oh, man, And that's how we were, like, and then I think once we get, like, we had we had on Miguel Torres. Yeah. And we were like, I told Asus, I was like, dude, I was sitting there and I was like, I just wanted a UFC fighter. So I just started shooting shit out everywhere. And then we got one, and it was just like, hell yeah, but it was like, dude, I just need a little jump start, what I'm saying? Like, something that, you know what I mean? Because we just love that stuff, right? But I mean,
no, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, dude, you're gonna appreciate this story. Sean O'Malley's agent reached out to me. This is like a year and a half ago or so. There was a UFC in Houston, and his agent reached out to me because he needed a podcast studio to record his podcast, and they asked if they could use Digital Wildcatter's podcast. I was like, fuck yeah, dude. I was like, so tell them to roll through. And anyways, it ended up not happening. They did something else, but I was like, that would have been dope as fuck to have them roll through and record their podcast.
That would have been so cool, dude. Oh, yeah, I'm ready to get like just thinking about
it. I was so fucking pumped. I don't even remember how. There was some funny story of how his agent got my number. I can't remember, but it was through a mutual friend, and I was like, this is so, like, random that you guys are calling me, but
like, you don't expect that shit. Like, you're not sitting there thinking about it, like, hey, this guy might, and
just all of a sudden, like, I walked in the office, I was like, hey, Sugar Sean O'Malley may be coming through to record a podcast.
Dude, that's wild.
It would have been sick though.
Yeah. Okay, guys, wanted to come out here and say, give these guys a shout out, give them some support. That's Underdog Wireline. They believe in us. We believe in them. That's the whole model we're using, because they really do. But I want to put this out there. They do completion, production, pipe recovery. You need a well perforated. You need a well logged. Give these guys a call. They know what they're doing. They send their best out every time. Look, I'm not just saying that. I'm just telling you. That's the damn truth, So, but also, they also do, they do put out emergency trial trailers and cool down trailers. So do what you can. Give them a call at 432-247-1033.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Patchboyz here with some more exciting news. So we got a little partnership going with Colin McClellan, also known as Frac Slap. You guys know him from the podcast, and of course, the people from the industry know him as the Roughneck from West Texas, doing big things, right? So he's got a new app coming out. It's called the Clyde app. It's a community-based app for oil and gas industry. It's a public forum, basically, where you can go join in conversations with other people that are like-minded or have like jobs in the oil business or different jobs, right? It also has a YouTube like platform where you could search videos and learn about anything in the oil field. It features AI. You can also ask direct questions to and get a direct answer really quick. Man, and if you're looking for a job, Clyde Jobs is there to help, man. This is an all-inclusive app, fantastic for the oil and gas industry. I hope you guys can join the Patchboyz there. Thank you.
Yeah, man. But I think that's wild, bro. How that happened and all that stuff. But one thing I would really wanted to ask you is just because I know you got this new app coming out and all this stuff, and I think what y'all are doing is awesome.
Yeah.
But I just want to know, like, you created this app called Clyde,
Yeah.
or built it, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't really. I don't know if they know the people
Yeah.
at least that listen to us, and maybe you can explain a little bit about that.
Yeah, man. So we developed this app called Clyde, which if you look at Clyde at surface level, what is it? It's a community platform for oil and gas. So think about like Reddit for oil and gas or LinkedIn. I hate saying LinkedIn for oil and gas because I fucking hate LinkedIn. But
Really, I didn't know that.
yeah, dude.
We'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah.
I guess.
And anyways, I'll talk about a little bit like how we got the idea and where we're at. But ultimately, Clyde has three main components to it. It's got forums where you can come talk, so people are coming in here asking questions, sharing content. It's oil and gas, energy specific. It's no bullshit that you'll find on any other social media platform. You have Clyde Jobs, so if you're looking for your next job in energy, we've already onboarded I think like 200 energy companies on there and have all of their jobs on there. So we want to help people in the Clyde community find their next gig. And then we have all of our AI features. So we have Clyde GPT, which is, if you've used Chat GPT, it's very similar, but it's trained only on energy content. So you can come in there, you can ask questions like, hey, what is a packer? What is a type curve? And boom, it'll say, hey, here's what a type curve is. It'll give you an answer, and then it'll also give you a source to the documents where we pulled it from. We have a YouTube AI search, or a video AI search, which if to simplify it, it's like a really advanced YouTube. So we have 4,000 energy videos in there. Some of it's DW videos. There's videos from around the internet, all energy related, and you can go in there and you can search. So like you could search, any energy topic, artificial lift, and boom, it'll pull up every single video where artificial lift is mentioned. And then you can go in there and you can look and you can see the transcript of what's talked about. And you're like, oh, this video is interesting. And boom, you click into the video and it'll have little tick marks in that video of everywhere where artificial lift is mentioned, or it has a dynamic transcript where you can click on any word and it'll take you to that point in the video. And so what we're really looking to do with AI throughout the Clyde platform is, if you want to find any piece of information, you want to build your network, or you need to find an expert, you need to find your next gig, boom, you come to Clyde and it'll happen on there. And I first got this idea for it back in like 2019 or 2020 because I started seeing a couple things. What year did you get in the oil field?
2007.
2007. Did you ever use RigZone for like jobs or anything?
No, man, I
So
just knew somebody.
so like I loved RigZone, man. Every day I'd come home from the rig, I'm like, fuck my job, and I get on RigZone, I'd be looking for a new job, but they had like all kinds of like content and articles. And anyways, RigZone sold out in like 2012, and then it just fell off and kind of disappeared. And I was like, man, why has no one tried to build like a new age like RigZone of like an actual community app? And then this is what you started seeing happening was like, if you looked at like the first version of the internet, Web 1, you had like static websites, like listing websites like Craigslist and things of this nature. You had like forums, like I don't know if you remember like truck forums. Like I'd always be in diesel forums and shit. Like
yeah.
my
There you go.
redneck ass working on my F-250. And then Web 2 was social media platforms. And so this was like Facebook, MySpace, YouTube, Twitter,
Okay.
Instagram. And what those horizontal social media platforms were good for was connecting everyone around the world and allowing us to become content creators. Like, think about this, man. Like, we're recording a podcast right now. You know how hard it, like, the media, like, you couldn't just break into media 20 years ago. Like, you had to, have a cable TV show or be on radio. Now, with a phone and a microphone, you can just record some audio and publish it and then distribute it on Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn. Like, that's fucking crazy
Yeah.
that any of us can just do that now. And so it enabled all of us to be creators. But what these big social media platforms don't do well is that they don't serve any specific group of people or any specific industry. And so our thesis was, hey, we can build a better platform that's built by oil and gas professionals for oil and gas professionals and build something that's really valuable for people in this industry. And, the big thing for me is creating this open source mindset. So the tech industry in Silicon Valley, like what they've always been good at is collaborating and being open source and like helping each other. And that's how technology has risen so quickly. Oil and gas, complete opposite. The boomers in this industry were like, oh, it's my proprietary information. I'm not telling you shit. And like, just like fucking cutthroat. And with young people like us starting to take the reins of the industry, that's changing. And people want to share information. I was just over at Diamondback and they're showing me these really cool charts. And he's like, man, I would love to share this on Clyde and talk about what we're seeing with these, gas disruptions, sand disruptions, and like talk about this chart. And I was like, yeah, dude, that's what I want. I had an engineer from Lime Rock post in there. He said, hey, we're having issues with this well. It's failing on us. Here's the well schematic. Uploaded the well schematic. It was like, would love any ideas of what y'all think's happening here. And so creating this this place where you can come ask questions and share information and knowledge. Like, dude, when I first got in oil and gas, when I first started roughnecking, I didn't know shit, dude. I didn't even know what a pipe wrench was, much less how to use one. I look like a dumbass
Right there
trying to
with-
use. Yeah, I think most people do. Like,
Yeah,
you don't know what a pipe wrench is. And anyways, like I was so hungry, like I wanted to learn, and there just wasn't really anywhere good on the internet to go learn. And what's crazy now is like, I was talking to this dude the other day. Guy's super impressive, man. Long time Secret Service. Went to work for Brian Sheffield at Parsley Energy for a long time, and now he's building this oil and gas tech. And he came up to me the other day. He's like, hey, man, he's like, I just want to tell you how valuable your podcast has been to me in oil and gas, just shortening the learning curve of getting to learn about this industry. And so, people like they're coming to podcasts to learn, and they're trying to find information on YouTube and things of this nature. And so what we want to do with Clyde is just make it this platform where people can help each other, where you can build your network, find jobs. And we launched it. When did we launch it? 6 months ago. And now it's starting to really take off. We have, I think we just hit 3,600 users. It's growing 20% month over month organically, which is fucking insane. We're doing we have an Ask Me Anything coming up with Toby Rice, the CEO of EQT, the largest nat gas producer. So you can come in there and ask Toby questions.
Oh, I got an email on that today, dude.
An email went out on it. And so anyways, dude, it's super cool. But, it's something that we're working day in and day out and listening to everyone because we want it to be super valuable for everyone in the industry. So we're just trying to get as many ideas from people as possible. And, ideas are like, hey, I think this is dog shit. Like, we like the bad feedback too, but good feedback's like, man, I think this would be really valuable to see this feature. This would help me. And, really trying to build it as we listen to people and make it valuable for them.
And that's pretty neat, man. I mean, to think that y'all built an actual app is pretty wild to you know what I mean? Because that's a lot of work, I would think, right?
There's a shit ton of work. Yeah, dude. It's crazy, man, because I was talking to someone the other day, and obviously, I do not have a conventional background, going from high school to roughnecking to building technology. And, someone's like, when did you become a techie? And I'm like, dude, it's I've always been a techie. Like, you know, I've always been technical. Like oil and gas is very fucking technical. Going out and setting packers is very fucking technical. Like you just probably don't even think about it like that because it's what you do.
Yeah.
It's what you do, right? But like, dude, if I tried to take like a software engineer and just said, hey, take this dude's spot running a packer, they wouldn't know the first fucking thing to do, right? They'd probably get themselves killed.
Probably twist off of that son of a bitch or something. Yeah.
And so what's crazy about going from oil and gas to developing software is that oil and gas is, you know, there's a difference between bits and atoms, and oil and gas is atoms. It's a physical operation. It's physical technology, super high risk. You know, if something goes wrong, people potentially die, get hurt. So you go over to software and you're like, oh, this shit's easy. Like, you know, I think about it and it's going to appear. That's not the case. Like developing an app, especially an app this big, is very challenging. And we're lucky that we got great software engineers that are building this. And, you know, I think that there's pros and cons to both sides of the world of bits and atoms. But what I like about bits is that it's very scalable. Like, yeah, over the last, call it 8 months, I spent like $750,000 on development building this app. And what's nice about it is like you build something once and then it can be used many times over. It's like, hey, I built this video search. Well, cool. It's built. Now people are using it. And so it just scales. The incremental cost over time is lower, but it does take a lot of time and money up front to build something that you're proud of. And, you know, I'll rewind it a little bit, man, like going back to our conversation earlier, talking about like the progression of the podcast and just like starting slow. We launched Clyde, I think 3 times since 2021.
Damn, I remember hearing the name before.
Yeah, it's 2024 now, dude.
Yeah.
And we're just now gaining traction on it. The first time, dude, we didn't have any fucking money. I didn't have money to go develop this. And I'm not a software developer myself. And even if I was, like, this app is so big that, like, you'd have to be a badass software developer to build it yourself. And we just used this white label solution that I found. I can't even remember what the name of it was. And it's like, hey, we'll pay you $10,000 a year and we'll use it. And, you know, it was their social app that they already built out, but we just reskinned it with our colors and Collide and everything. And we launched it once and boom, dud, didn't work. But the idea, like the feedback I got from everyone, like everyone got the idea, like, yeah, that's a good idea, but it didn't work well because the technology in the app wasn't great. And so I was like, okay, we got to develop our own app. So now we go and we develop our MVP, minimal viable product. And it was dog shit, dude. Dog shit. Like I was embarrassed of it. And, you know, just, I'm not going to get into all the nuts and bolts of it because I don't want to bore everyone, but it's like, I wasn't proud of it. But anyways, like, you know, some people were using it and we were getting those feedback loops from people. So, and those feedback loops are like, okay, we can invest more money into this because it's clear that people want this and that it will be valuable. And so back in November 2023, we started working on the new build of the current app and got the new app built in about call it 5 months. And we're like, okay, it's good enough to launch and ship. And now it's just constant evolution and building. And like, I don't know if I'll ever be proud of the app. Like, I don't know, because you know, like I'm always going to drive for just more, and I just want it to be better and better. But it's just one of those things where it's like, you got to ship and then you get better over time and you build over time. So it doesn't matter if it's a podcast, if it's software, whatever it is. And that's just one thing that I've learned, man. Like there's so many people that push back, even within my organization, like, oh, like we gotta wait. And I'm like, no, fucking ship, like ship. And like make that commitment to the universe that we're sending this, and we'll make it better over time. We'll refine over time. And so that's where we're at right now, man. You know, it's just getting people in there and using it and getting feedback. And, you know, the app it's good now and it'll continue getting better over time. But yeah, like one thing, like I want like people out in Midland, like field hands, like, come in here and ask questions, learn, build your network. I think the biggest, you just made a comment about getting your job. How did you get a job? I knew someone.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is your network and knowing people. And so that's how I want people using that.
I think they will. I mean, I think, one thing I do know for sure is that a lot of people out here, they're always looking for other opportunities.
Yeah.
And, they're either looking for more money or they're looking to move up in the industry. So
Yeah.
I think what y'all are doing is pretty good. I mean, y'all are ahead of the game. I mean, especially with the AI questions. I mean,
Yeah.
who the hell else does that? I mean, you know how many times I've been on a job, I'm like, I don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you got to fake it till you make it. You know what I'm saying? And then you get it done.
And that's what, like, think about if we can just like create this deep brain where we can shorten that learning curve. We can go on there and you ask a question, either AI or you ask the community and get an answer. And, I think, I think there's a lot of cool things that we're about to launch the gamification of the platform where, if you get on Clyde now, you'll see like, there's not thumbs ups for likes or hearts. You have lightning bolts and toxic, the toxic skull and bones is the downvote. And the lightning bolts are watts. So you earn watts for all your contributions. So like if you, if you make a post and it gets a lot of watts, or you answer someone's question and it gets a lot of watts, you start getting those watts and they're essentially points. And so like if I was to go click on your profile, like I could be like, oh damn, you've got 1 million watts. And now think about this. Like you go to apply for, just say you're a packer hand and you go to apply for this job at Schlumberger or wherever. They've got 2 candidates. They've got you and this other person. Well, they see you on Clyde and like, oh shit, he's got a million watts.
Yes.
And he's super active in the community, involved, and got all the social proof and validation from his peers. You start having this qualitative element now where like you get to stand out and like show that you know your shit, and that's going to help you.
Damn, I didn't think of it like that.
That's going to help you progress in your career. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm like. I'm trying to like, I want to help people like really show off your shit, man. Like show off your knowledge. And I want to help people progress in their career by being able to do that.
Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty good idea though. I mean, I never would have. You're right though, because sometimes you hire people, you don't know what you're getting, right? Or they just,
Yeah, what good's a resume? It's like, oh, you worked 5 years at Halliburton and 3 years at this wireline company. Like, dude, how many people have you met in the field? Like, I've worked in the field for 25 years. I'm like, dude, you're still a fucking dumbass. Like,
yeah, for sure. They do
like years of experience do not matter. What does matter is someone's. There's a lot of things that matter, but someone's true ability and skill, how good are they at their job? Are they a cultural fit? What's their work ethic? Things of that nature. And those people, you should demand a premium in the market. And so I think that we can help do that. With Clyde.
That's pretty wild. I mean, like you said, like, cause I know like some people use LinkedIn, right? Like, and you say you don't like LinkedIn, and I get it, cause I don't even use it.
Yeah.
But I didn't know people use it till like recently. I saw like a reel on it, and I was like, damn, but like for years it's just straight oil and gas community.
Yeah.
And I like that.
And why are people using LinkedIn? Because it's the only place to go. Like that's the problem, is that like there is no purpose built app for oil and gas, and that's what we're building. And so like if you were to draw a Venn diagram, in one circle you had LinkedIn, in the other circle you had Twitter. This is what happened. Like one, I fucking hate LinkedIn, which is crazy to say because I built my business off of LinkedIn. So I need to appreciate and respect LinkedIn a little bit. But like it's a terrible product, man. Like it sucks. And it sucks, one, from like an engineering perspective, like they're just not good at building tech. And the second thing is like it's sales oriented, so it's just a bunch of spam. But the main thing for oil and gas is that there's not real conversations happening there. And the reason that there's not real conversations is because like if you work for Exxon, for example, you're seen as a representation for Exxon, and you can be reprimanded by Exxon for talking on LinkedIn. And so that suppresses people, keeps them from talking and having genuine conversations. Then you start seeing these other communities pop up. Like they can be anywhere. Like, Facebook groups are pretty popular, like in wireline. You start seeing these, tons of oil field pages on Instagram and people talking in the comments. But I look at Twitter, and, Twitter became popular in oil and gas back in like 2019, 2020 is when it really started growing. And the majority of people would run anonymously. It'd be, they run under anonymity. And so that allowed them to have more organic and authentic conversations. And I'll never forget this one conversation when it like really hit me. I saw this guy ask, hey, he's like, why do I have so much iron carbonate build up in my saltwater disposal well? And two other production engineers came in and gave really valuable technical answers. And then just 2 days later, that information was gone, lost into the ether. And I was like, man, why are we not saving that information and those answers so that the next time someone has that question, they can find it? And so that's what we plan on doing with Clyde is like, if you're talking about, this iron carbonate buildup in your saltwater disposal well, and 3 years later, someone has that same question, they can search on the AI and boom, it'll bring up. It's like, hey, here's a post that talked about that.
Okay.
3 years,
That's cool, man.
3 years
Yeah, I
ago.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so that's what we like. That's what we really think about is like, how can we build this platform where people are getting so much value out of it, and then using AI, we can make it to where you can ask any question in the future and get an answer. And people are going to LinkedIn right now because that's the only place that's existed up to this point.
Yeah.
But LinkedIn sucks for this industry, and we're gonna build something that just straight up whoops their ass on value proposition.
Well, I think your AI, the way you're going with AI, is pretty awesome, bro. I mean, because that's like I said a minute ago, you don't see that anywhere.
Yeah, and I like don't want to sound arrogant here, like pumping up our chest, but like I do want to give a shout out to our team. But dude, we're on the cutting edge of AI. It's funny, we hired this kid. He goes to the University of Houston for computer science, and I love him, man. He's an immigrant from Egypt, just fucking got a hard-nosed mentality, just grinds. I love him. When I first talked to him, I was talking, I was like, yeah, I love people that are hungry. And he's like, I'm fucking starving. And I was like, hell yeah, boy. I was like, you're talking my language now.
He's ready to go, man.
He knew how to get a job at Digital Wildcatters. And anyways, he came up to me the other day and he's just like, man, there's not documentation for like half the stuff that we're coding. And I was like, yeah, you're on the leading edge of the stuff. Like there is no documentation. Like you just have to figure out how to build it. And so, I think what's cool about that is that, usually oil and gas industry kind of lags behind on digital technology by 10 years, but we're bringing a solution that's going to keep us competitive with Silicon Valley and the tech industry. We're right there with them step for step. And so I find that exciting because here's the thing, man, is Silicon Valley, no one's going to build stuff for oil and gas. They don't know, dude, they don't understand us. They don't understand the problems that we deal with or the issues that we face. And so I just feel like really fortunate to be in the situation where we can bring these technological solutions to the industry in a very well-timed manner and keep the industry relevant.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. Because when you think about Silicon Valley, they don't respect us either, right?
No.
I mean, they look down on a lot of us for that. So,
Yeah.
at least, politically, right?
Which I want to give a shout out to Elon Musk. I don't know if you saw this the other day, but Elon tweeted out, let me find this on my phone because I'm going to read it verbatim. Problem with my phone is I always got to scroll through 500 shit posts and screenshots.
You're good,
but
man. You're good.
Elon Musk says civilization does need oil and gas for quite some time. I don't think we should demonize an industry that is essential for humanity to function. And I retweeted this and I was like, if you work in oil and gas, you should be fucking proud of the work that you do. And I know like a lot of people in oil and gas don't even think about this. Like, you're going out to location where make a paycheck and go home. But like, I want everyone to start taking some fucking pride in the work that they do and say it with your chest, because this industry and the Permian specifically powers the world. And, it may seem like, oh, I'm just going out to a rig to run a plug or a packer, but dude, that plays a part in a much bigger machine, and we should be proud of the work that we do. And so fuck Silicon Valley if they don't like us, dude. Fuck all of them. Like who gives a damn about them? But we'll build it.
Yeah.
We'll build it, and we're hoping to have the support of the industry and people using it and giving us ideas and feedback on how it can be even more valuable to use. So that's my one ask, is that I just want people giving us ideas and being a part of it.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, man. I mean, I think the way you look at things is awesome. Like, whenever we brought it up before, the Zeus, And I'm like, dude, the way that guy talks, like passionate. You know what I'm saying? Like you say, everything you say is like very like it's like good. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like
appreciate that,
I'm gonna
man.
have a hard time picking reels out on this subject.
I
You know what I
appreciate that, man.
mean? Because you know,
It's funny. I like to laugh and tell people that this industry just needed someone as retarded as me to try to build this, because it is a material step change in the way that the industry operates. But this has been this has been the case for the entire path of digital wildcatters. Dude, when we started a podcast in 2018, people told me I was committing career suicide by doing a podcast where we're saying fuck and cussing. And
yeah,
you got to think, man, like, especially in Houston, there's a stark difference between oil and gas in Houston and oil and gas in Midland, Odessa. I
Yes.
mean, Houston's white collar engineers. Don't get me wrong. There's a ton of great people there that came up in the oil field, but there's a lot that didn't. And, people are like, yo, you're committing career suicide. I'm like, have y'all not ever worked in the oil field? Like, people talk like this all the time. Like, no one gives a damn that I'm talking like this.
Yeah.
And I just knew that if we were genuine and authentic, and if we built for millennials, like, fuck the boomers. Like, I'm not building for the gray hairs.
Yeah.
There's a lot, and don't get me wrong, man, there's a ton of boomers and gray hairs that I have a lot of respect from that do support digital wildcatters. But in the early stages, like, people are like, oh, what is this? Like this, like, people wouldn't sponsor us or do anything because there's too much risk of being associated with our brand. And I always just knew that, hey, we're gonna change the way this industry operates. We're gonna make it cool to have podcasts. We're gonna make it cool to be authentic and genuine, and we're gonna make it cool to make TikTok videos and things of this nature. And you just gotta, like, you can't be worried about what other people think. And I know what this industry needs, and I want to be a leader in changing the way that the industry operates. And that's why I appreciate the compliment about how I'm passionate about when I talk. It's like, because I wake up every single fucking day thinking about this industry and how I can help people in this industry. And to be honest, like, I've told people, I was like, I don't even care if I made any money from this. Like, that's how important it is to me, that I just want to be mission accomplished at all costs. And so that's what drives that spirit inside of me.
Man, that's awesome, bro. Because I mean, like, I think the way y'all do it is awesome. Like the way y'all are online, and then like, I never really understood like pushing digital work out till now. I'm starting to get like a broader idea of it.
Yeah.
But the work y'all put into it, I think a lot of people don't see that. Like they think, just come in, push record, and then that's it. But it's a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine, like with you deal with like engineers, and you deal with these people that I would be stressed out about. You know what I'm saying? Like if I didn't know you and you came in today, I would be stressed out. But I know what kind of guy you are. I know I could talk to you easily.
Yeah.
But like, that's got to be a little hard also, right? I would think.
It really, I appreciate that you respect how much work goes into it. This is one of those things that you don't respect it until you do it and you see how much work goes into it. Actually, I was with Shad Frazier. Give him a shout out, man. I love this dude. He's the VP of Ops at Endeavor, and he was telling me about his daughter. His daughter graduated college, and her full-time job is in marketing, and she does marketing for several companies, making TikToks for them every day, and she makes like 20 TikToks a week. I told Shad, I was like, dude, I want you to know like how much work that is. Like, that's a ton of work. He's like, oh no. He's like, I know. He's like, and he started telling me that he runs the AV and light board at his church. And so like, respect. I was like, good. I was like, you have respect for it, because it is hard. One, to create anything, whether it's content or whether it's software, it's hard. And then, there's just a ton that goes into it, but you don't see that when you just consume the content on social media. Like, if you just saw one of our videos, like, you don't know the work that actually goes into making that, right? And for me, you made a comment about like talking to engineers and stuff. Like, I'll be honest, dude, you can go back and look at my podcast. Like, I've had billionaires on there like John Arnold. I don't get nervous talking to anyone, because at the end of the day, like, what I've realized is they're just humans. Like, everyone's just humans. And I think one of my friends made a comment one time. He's like, dude, you got a really special gift where you can talk to billionaires and you can talk to oil filled hands and like, you don't have to code switch. I'm like, dude, I'm just me. Like, I'm just myself. And like the person sitting across the table from me, like, I don't give a shit how much money you have. I don't care what your position is. Like, I think everyone has interesting stories to tell. And like, through a podcast, like I can extract those stories and like and allow people to tell those stories. But like, dude, don't stress anyone ever coming in this podcast to you. Like, this is your house, this is your podcast. Yeah. I should be nervous coming on here.
Dude,
and so,
and we've seen that. Like, we had a guy on last time, and he was like, every time I put the camera on, that sucker would get freeze up, bro. And I was like, oh my goodness, man. But it was kind of nice to see, like, hey, at least I'm not the only one.
Yeah,
because I'll be sweating bullets too, bro.
For sure. So like, I'd have people, like, I have these executives come on our podcast, and they'll be so nervous coming on. I don't know if you've ever seen in the background of our podcast, but we have like a whole whiskey bar, like full of like whiskey and tequila and stuff.
Hard hat too. I saw a white hard hat back there.
Yeah, there's a hard hat back there. I gotta get some like, I was gonna tweet this the other day. I need someone to get us a hookup for a Digital Wildcatters custom hard hats. So
nice. If
anyone's listening to this and you don't know where to get hard hats, send me a plug. But it's funny, like, seeing people that are successful people get nervous to come on a podcast. And I tell them all the time, I'm like, dude, it's just a conversation between me and you. We just happen to have microphones and 5 cameras and all the studio lighting.
Like, oh my God, you know what I mean?
Because you walk into our studio is like bright because we got all these studio lights, and you look and you just got cameras, and we got a TV mounted on the wall where it's like showing your camera angle. So it is kind of like,
that is pretty,
it is kind of intimidating when you come in, but I'm like, I make people comfortable. I'm like, it's just us sitting here.
Yeah. If I would never been on a podcast and I went on, I'd be so,
I
would be terrified, bro. You know what I mean? Because it is a lot.
That's it's understandable, but once we start talking and like, actually, like, what I like about y'all's studio is the low lighting, because it makes it more comfortable. Whereas you come in ours and it's just like, boom, just bright studio lighting.
Yeah.
But
we're still working on that. I'm like, dude, I'm trying to get the lighting, and
lighting is the most complex part of anything video. Like, people don't realize how tough that
really
is.
Yeah. I mean,
it's hard.
My wife, she helps me. Look, she's a photographer, but I mean, like, she's like, man, you gotta do this and that. I'm even thinking about getting one over. It's like all kinds of stuff. And I'm like,
I'll send you pictures, dude. We've got like, dude, you'll appreciate like the scrappiness of us, because like, we've got, instead of buying like a badass expensive diffuser, we made a PVC pipe frame and then put a sheet over it, and then you got studio lights that come down, and so it diffuses the light all over.
That is wild, dude.
It's some oil filled rigging for sure.
Oh man, but hey, you got to do what you got to do, right?
It works great.
Like, so. this table, I had a smaller table last time. I don't know if you remember. It was like a little smaller, but this table was actually from my shop, and they're like, it was beat up, bro, bad.
It's a good table.
Yeah, I mean, I had to fix that part, but like they fell. But other than that, I mean, like, this table was beat up, and I sanded it down and I stained it, and then I put that poly, and I was like, dude,
if you ever see our podcast table on video, like, it looks like a badass table. It's a bowling alley slab of wood,
dude. Yeah,
and we bought it for like $100 online. This thing is shipped to us,
really?
Bro. This thing has to weigh like 300 pounds. It's heavy as shit. It's heavy as shit. Yeah. And anyways, it still had all the bowling alley wax on it, so we had to spend 2 days sanding this thing down, grinding it down, and then we stained it, and we had to buy legs for it and drill them in. And
that's wild.
Like, I hate moving this table because it is so damn heavy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I got this table. I got this whole idea from your show. Like, with at least with the way these are, the arms are, the way they come out low. Yeah. Because at first we were gonna go high, and I was like, nah, it's gonna look right with cameras,
See, I love this because, dude, we used to have high boom arms, but we learned over time like what best setups were. So I fucking love that you're watching our show and like shortening the learning curve of like, oh, hey, they're doing it like this, so we're gonna do it like that, because it took us a long time of, like, I remember one time we used to not have a table, and we just had like these like 4 chairs lined up, and we had cinder blocks sitting next to the chairs, and then we put the boom arms on the cinder blocks, and then they like boom up.
That's
and
a good
so
idea, though.
just dude, we've had a lot of iterations of how we've made our tables, and now I got these are actually really nice boom arms that you have. I like these. I bought these ones that Joe Rogan uses. I bought one of them to test it out. It's like $1,000 for one.
Snap.
Yeah, they're expensive.
Pretty
but,
good or what?
Dude, they're pretty sick, man. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm like, $4,000 for 4 of them. I don't know if they're that sick.
Not below 400
yeah,
for them. So
that's expensive enough. Yeah, and I was like, man, I don't know if this is worth it or not. But yeah, they're pretty sick, but they're like super low profile, so they come out like this.
Yeah, they are nice.
And then the way that they move up and down is just like so smooth. Yeah. And I'm like, don't get me wrong, they're nice, but they better be nice for
they're gonna last a while.
How much they cost. Yeah, so.
That's crazy. Yeah, and like I see how y'all do y'all's videos too. Like I wanted to bring this up with the whole with the underdog video.
Yeah,
over there, that was a cool video, bro. Like that was when y'all came down for Energy Tech Night, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
man, that was a great video,
dude. Thanks. Give a shout out to Underdog. Dude, I fucking love them.
Me too, man. They sponsor us and they've been there for us.
No, great. Great people. Can't speak highly enough about them. And I met everyone at Underdog through Andy De La Rosa. Me and Andy go way back. We used to run Wireline together back in like 2011 or 12. And anyway, so he's been a longtime friend of mine. And anyways, we're coming out here for Energy Tech Night, and I want to record these videos. I don't make any money on these videos. Like, this is just like purely like, it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
I want to teach the world about energy. We did this video with Underdog, and shout out to Basil on our team for putting it together. We sat in the lobby of Doubletree and we're like, hey, what do we want? Like, what's the story arc of this video? And boom, we went out there and shot it. And it's cool, man. My friend Maciel, she's really big on Instagram. She's a wireline engineer. She messaged me. She's like, that is the best video I've ever seen on wireline. And to be honest, man, like Andy Tahana Brown fucking crushed it. Like the way that we did it was essentially I would ask a question and then Andy would answer it and like walk us through it. And he just absolutely like he crushed it. The dude does well on camera and has the ability to explain things really well. And so the video wouldn't have been near as good if you didn't have Andy or someone like Andy, like that had the camera presence and the ability to walk through the video. But that's why I wanted to do it with him too, because I just knew it was gonna turn out well. But yeah, I had people like professors at universities in petroleum engineering saying that they'd be showing this to all their students when talking about logging wells. And so it's cool, man. Like, it's cool getting, we have the resources and the ability to produce videos like that. Like, you want to talk about like a high lift on a video like that takes, like, you saw the editing on it. Like, that was probably 20 man hours of work to put together a video like that. And, 2 people on it between Bossel and Jacob, Bossel doing the storytelling and the shooting of the video, Jacob doing all the editing, my time of thinking of the story arc and then going out there and doing it, Underdog Wireline's time. Like, that's a lot of effort to make a piece of content, right? And so but you see the end product and you're like, oh, this is dope as fuck. Clyde.
Yeah,
this is awesome. And you can tell like it takes a lot of effort to make it.
Dude, it was good though. I mean, I liked it a lot, and I was like, damn, that's how I like how y'all do that, man. Like, it's just the whole movement of it and just everything went. It really worked well.
It's pretty funny because like my kids saw it, and the intro was like, it was like a little clickbaity. It's like, this $1 million truck runs wire 2 miles under the ground, and like explosions going off and shit. My kids are like, you trying to be Mr. Beast?
Oh, hey, but it looks legit, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it looks good, man. Like,
and so yeah, if anyone's ever listening and like wants to make content like that, happy to talk about doing it, because that's something where that's like a personal like passion, is like educating the world on. I just got a comment on YouTube as I was driving over here that was like, let me read this real quick.
no, you're good.
They commented on a video of I have this video. It's like it's done pretty well. It's got a couple 100,000 views on YouTube, and it's called "What Does a Roughneck Do on a Drilling Rig?" And
I have seen that. That's a good one.
Pretty simple title here. And anyways, this comment said, "Thank you for explaining the process in layman's terms. I now understand what I've been watching on all of these YouTube shorts. I was especially confused by the chain throwing. My family works on the oil rigs in the North Sea. I got to ask them more questions now. I think we all take this for granted. Thank you for making it." And like, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
That's fucking like to have someone realize, like, I think that we take this all for granted. They take all the, like, you get to show people the work that goes into powering the world, and the work like, you know, people like all of you and everyone else out in West Texas does. And so that's important to me, because I think that it's important to raise energy IQ in the world. And, you know, we like to bash people that demonize oil and gas, like, oh, you don't understand how it works. Like, but think about it. Like, you know, I try to put myself in other people's shoes and like on the other side of the table and think about it. Like, if you grew up in New York City, would you have any clue about oil and gas or how it works or how electricity works? Like, all you know is you plug in your phone to the wall and electricity comes out of that wall. That's all you know.
Yeah.
You don't have like, and why would they know anymore? Like, you don't have any medium or way to go learn about the industry in an interesting way. So like, you can't blame those people for not knowing about it, because they don't have any exposure. You know, they're not like us, like growing up in West Texas in the oil patch and being exposed to it. And so I've always just thought, like, if you can give them an interesting, like if you can give them an entertaining way to learn about the work that we do, and that comes in the form of video content. You know, showing them, like, people like watching roughnecks work on a rig, and they like watching this wireline video. And so that's something I hope to continue doing, is just making cool, interesting content in the oil field.
I think it's awesome. You know, I spoke to an engineer the other day on a job, and they were like an intern, right? And he was saying, like, I asked him like how it was, you know, being at these big universities and all that, but he was like, you know, and they go to he went to Texas and Austin, and he's like, dude, you know, we don't have much material. All we, you know, we can't just go to a rig.
Yeah.
We can't go to a location. But he was talking about how Texas Tech, they can do that.
Yeah.
And I never thought about that. Like, Texas Tech engineers in school can just go to a job an hour and a half away and find out exactly what's going on. But these guys that are not by oil fields, they don't understand, and the only thing they have is online or whatever they can read and look at.
I mean, just Tech, just position where it's at in UTPB. I mean, you're in the patch, and so you can drive out to a rig and you get to be hands-on, which nothing will ever beat, you know, just that hands-on of feeling and seeing something. But what's the next best option? You know, I when we started our podcast, Oil and Gas Startups, back in 2018, one of the reasons that we started is because I was talking to investors on the West Coast, because I was like, hey, you guys need to look at what's happening on oil and gas tech. Like, there's a lot of interesting things that you should invest in. And I remember this venture capitalist asking me, he's like, where can we go to learn about oil and gas or oil and gas tech? There wasn't a single place on the internet to send them to. I was like, oh shit, maybe we should start a podcast, like, talking about these things. That's how the podcast started. And that's how butterfly effect where we're at now with Clyde and everything. And so it's important. And, you know, I have friends, like, I don't know if you know Joseph Anthony. He's on TikTok and he works in production, and he's created this huge TikTok following, and literally, you know, most of his videos are him just driving around in the field working on shit.
I've seen them. Yeah.
People are just interested. Like, you know, when you work in an oil field, you're like, oh, it's just the same shit. Well, it's really interesting work to people that have never been exposed to the oil field. And so I have this talk that I give. It's called The Power of Storytelling. And, you know, I'm like, look, you can't depend on Exxon and BP and Chevron to put out this corporate bullshit videos and change public opinion. It's like, the way you change public opinion about oil and gas is you enable everyone out in the field to take video and show what they're doing. And that's what people care about. Like, they care about personal stories. They connect with humans. They want to see, like, real shit. Like, I'd love to, like, you know, this plug that's in behind you, like a video of running a plug. Like, I have videos on TikTok that have done like 300,000 views of me just sitting there at a desk, like, hey, this is a dissolvable plug. This is what it is. Yada, 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 yada. And that does views. Like, I swear, man, like, if I was a roughneck out in the oil field, like, I'd have millions of followers right now, because I would just be like taking random ass videos all day.
Yeah.
I'd probably have an OnlyFans too, like, monetizing from the females that like seeing roughnecks. Or
you might make some money too. You know what I mean? That's a lot of.
So I can't go back in the oil field, bro. I'll turn into a degenerate again. So,
hey, but you know, and I also want to point this out. Like, I haven't said this yet, and I'm sure people already know, but I want to thank you too for, like, the wanting to put us on the sponsorship.
Dude, absolutely,
you know,
man.
and for the Clyde and all that stuff, man. I appreciate it.
No, man. You know, I'm really happy that we get to support you guys. I love the work that you guys do, and very supportive of it. And I'm happy that, you know, we're in a place where we get to sponsor sponsor you guys
Yeah.
and support it. And so, that's fucking cool. Like you
Yeah.
get to make money from your podcast now, like
Dude.
cover some of your costs and
It is
yeah.
helping. It's
Yeah,
nice,
that's a big step. And so
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys partnering with us and, helping to get out the word about Clyde. If anyone wants to find it, you can search Clyde on the App Store. It's Clyde.io. All the AI stuff's on you got to get on desktop on your computer to use the AI stuff. It's not in the mobile app, but yeah, man, just really want to spread the message and be able to help this industry move forward.
I think what you're all onto is really awesome. I mean, I like it. I've been using it. I've been looking into it. I've been and I've been looking at the feed and all the interaction you got going on the polls and stuff. And I'm
There's
like,
good shit
dude,
going. Yeah, dude,
it's a lot.
it's exciting, man. Like
Yeah.
it's exciting. Like people are using it, and so that'll only get better over time.
Hell
So
yeah, man.
yeah.
And thank you again. And we're gonna put this out more. We're gonna keep pushing it, and everybody, looking at Clyde, like you were saying, it's awesome, man. And I think it's it's real big, something big coming into Midland. West
Thanks, man.
Texas, oil field, oil and gas, everything.
Yeah, and dude, I need some Patchboyz swag.
Yeah,
I want to rep the Patchboyz. So
I know we have to do that.
Yeah,
man.
yeah, we got to get you guys some swag sometime. So
Yeah.
I need some in my life. But
Hey, and we always said it. You said last time we're gonna shoot it to you.
Yeah.
and we're gonna do it, man. Because I know we've been looking into it. We've been actually getting quotes, so it's in the works. So we're looking into it.
Oh yeah,
bro.
I'm your first customer when you got it, man. I want a Patchboyz shirt
for
or hat.
sure, bro.
So.
I mean, you're our first guest. Like I said, we appreciate all that shit, man.
Yeah.
And then you push us out. Everybody. I mean, it was crazy, So I love that, man.
Yeah,
Thank you for the support.
I'm proud to be friends with you guys and proud to be able to support the podcast. And I know the grind, man, and appreciate the work that you guys put in.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Well, hell, I guess you want to end it. I know you got events going on.
Yeah, dude, I got a date at Shack in the back, so I got a table there. So I got to go make my rounds. So, dude, appreciate you giving me the time to be on here.
No, thank you, man. And thanks again. And all right, man. Well, I appreciate it.
Cool.
Yes, sir. This episode is sponsored by Clyde. Now, you might remember Frac Slap from our previous episode. The man's from Midland. He's a roughneck, and he built a really cool app called Clyde. Now, this app is a community app for the oil and gas industry where you can join forums to ask questions and to share information. Let's say you're looking for a job, you want more money, you want to move up in the industry, look at Clyde Jobs. This app features impressive AI tools. It has a very advanced YouTube-like platform, and you can search any topic in energy videos. Look, this app even has an AI bot where you can ask questions and it will answer them instantly. So look, it's free. Sign up now at Clyde.io. Hey, what's up, guys? Excited to say we are officially sponsored by Underdog Wireline. Justin and Jessica, they show some support to us, and we appreciate the hell out of it. Look, these guys offer wireline services. They offer emergency shower trailers. They offer cool-down trailers and production work. Look, I'm not just saying that all they do is great wireline work. They do everything great. They send their best out every time. And look, what I also will say is that I worked with these guys personally on the field. The equipment is awesome. The hands are awesome. And the engineers are awesome. Look, I backed my damn truck up. They're right there ready to go. So look, show them support. Give them a call at 432-247-1033. They're a Midland-based company. They are a family-based company, and they love this town.
Hey, what's up, everybody? So I'm here, and I'm happy to announce to everybody that we got our first official sponsor with Patchboyz Podcast, and that sponsor is Best, B-E-S-T, Belloc Energy Service and Transport. These guys do all kinds of stuff, and I'm going to have to read it off because it's so much shit that I cannot even get it out without reading it, right? So these guys do environmental remediation work, transport, welding, sandblasting, coating, rastabout, and they literally say they can do it all. And I know these guys, I've known these guys for a long time. They're family oriented. They're based here in Midland, and they're born and raised here. So support these guys. Give them a call.